Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. In today's video, we are taking a look at the brand new 8bitdo arcade stick. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, this is a brand new arcade stick from 8bitdo. They say it's designed specifically for the PC and Nintendo Switch. However, I was also able to get it to work on the Raspberry Pi and on an Android phone. Now, opening up the box here, and I noticed it's packaged up pretty nicely. Included inside the box is the Fightstick, a USB-C cable, as well as an instruction manual. And very fortunately, the USB-C cable is a pretty big length. From an overall size perspective, here is the brand new 8bitdo arcade stick beside the older N30 arcade stick, also by 8bitdo. And here are the sticks side by side so you can see the difference in width between the two. They're pretty close overall, but the new arcade stick is a little bit thinner. One thing I immediately noticed with the arcade stick is the fact that the joystick is positioned a little further away from the buttons when compared to the N30, the stick below it. Now, the N30 is a standard Vuelix layout, so I'll get more into this in a little bit. Now, from an initial standpoint, this stick feels incredibly nice. The joystick does not feel like a brand name joystick like a Sanwa or Seimitsu, but it still feels okay. The buttons also feel a little bit cheap. For the average Fightstick user, you probably won't notice much of a difference here, but if you are a seasoned Fightstick user, you will notice right away that these are not top-tier parts. Is that a bad thing? Not necessarily, it's acceptable. The Fightstick feels incredibly solid. There's no flexing on the top panel, and the Fightstick also weighs a ton. There's also a little door on the back that contains the 2.4G wireless dongle as well as the USB-C connection. Now, 8bitdo touts this stick as ultra-moddable, so obviously I'm going to open it up and see exactly what can be modded. I ran into my first issue when I was trying to open it up and couldn't figure out what screw they used. It turns out they used a Torx screw for the bottom of this. That's a big strike against being ultra-moddable. Now, the specific screws require a T10 bit, which I have a couple of them, so I was thinking I would be okay. I ran into an issue because the screwdriver didn't fit into the hole, so I had to find a screwdriver that would fit to take this thing apart. Very frustrating. After a pretty long struggle and search, I found a screwdriver that didn't really fit, but the bit was long enough in order to take out these screws. Once I took the screws out, the Fightstick came apart fairly easily. I noticed right away why this Fightstick was so heavy. There is a giant metal plate in the base of this thing, and the plate is pretty thick. All of the weight of this stick is in the bottom. There really isn't much weight at all in the top. It's a very bottom heavy stick. Now, looking at the internals of the Fightstick, and all of the buttons have quick disconnects on them, which is a huge bonus. The wiring is incredibly sloppy, but it's not the end of the world, and if you're looking at replacing the buttons, I'm pretty sure you'll need to use snap-ins for every single button. Taking a really close look at the case, and it looks like it's specifically designed for snap-in buttons. I don't think that screw-in buttons will fit at all in this case, just on how it's designed. I don't think there will be enough room here between the button and the PCB, and the 24mm buttons on the bottom do have a tiny lip that I think would prevent the screw-in buttons from snugging up nice and tight. Now, taking a closer look at the joystick, and the wires are soldered directly to the micro switches. So if you are looking at replacing your joystick, you will need to desolder these wires or cut them. For what it's worth, I think these are the exact same buttons and micro switches that are in the 8bitdo N30 stick. Now, removing the joystick is pretty simple and straightforward, provided you will have to do some cutting or desoldering. I was able to fit a Sanwa JLF in here without any issues. It actually fits perfectly. However, you cannot use this style of Sanwa because of the pinout here. You will need a completely different Sanwa joystick. I will leave one in the description below for you to check out. The top of this stick features a bunch of different switches and buttons. Starting on the top row, on the top left is the mode switch. Here you can turn the Fightstick off. You can put it into Nintendo Switch mode on the left side. On the right side of this switch is X input mode, which is used for pretty much everything else, your PC, your Raspberry Pi, and even your Android device. The next switch is the control stick switch. This will change the functionality of your joystick and how it's read by whatever it's plugged into. For example, if you want the Nintendo Switch to read your joystick as a left control stick, switch it over to left stick. If you want it to read it as a right stick, switch it over into right stick. By default, this is set to D-pad, and D-pad should work with pretty much everything. The green button here is the pair button. You press and hold it to pair it in Bluetooth mode to a Bluetooth device, or you can press and hold it in the 2.4G mode to pair it to the dongle. Next up, we have the turbo button, we have a home button, we have a toggle switch here to turn it into the Bluetooth or 2.4G mode. Then we have the select and start buttons. Now, I tested out this stick on a bunch of different devices, on my PC, on an Android phone, on the Raspberry Pi, and on the Nintendo Switch. With latency and connections, I ran into no issues using Bluetooth or the 2.4G dongle or wired. Now, I would recommend using wired over everything where you can, but the wireless modes here are pretty darn good. I did notice a tiny bit of latency when I did pair this to my Android phone in Bluetooth mode, but the latency was very inconsistent. From emulator to emulator, the latency was a little bit different. Some of them ran it pretty darn good, others there was a noticeable but very tiny delay. In fact, it was pretty much the exact same as all of my other 8bitdo controllers. So here is a fairly unscientific way to check out delay on this Fightstick. Right now, I do have the stick paired to my Nintendo Switch in Bluetooth mode. What I'll do is I'll hold up the stick to the camera, press light punch here, and you can see Ken perform the light punch. It's pretty close. It's almost identical to the Joy-Cons. There really isn't much of a difference at all between the stick and the Joy-Cons. And now I have the 2.4G dongle plugged into my Nintendo Switch, and we'll do the exact same test here. And you can see it's pretty much the exact same. There's not much of a difference between the last test and this test. Now I have the stick plugged into my Switch in wired mode. Just don't mind the wire hanging down in front of the camera here. So I'll put the stick right up to the camera again and press the button, and you can see it's pretty much the exact same as the other two tests. Now I'm going to plug this stick into my computer to show you the ultimate software, but before I do, I have to switch this stick into X input mode, which is actually pretty cool. They use LEDs to light up the button commands here, and when you switch it, the LEDs change to reflect the new button assignments, and I'll show you. So the stick right now is in Nintendo Switch mode. Hopefully just get it to focus there, and I'll change the dial over into X input, and you'll see the LEDs change to correspond with the X input controls. I think this is incredibly cool. 8bitdo's ultimate software is free, and it does work with this Fightstick. If you want to know where to get it, I will leave a link in the description below. It's available for both Windows and Mac. Here is the ultimate software up and running. From this software, you can change the button mapping on the Fightstick, save it directly to the Fightstick, so that button mapping will take effect in pretty much any device you're using the Fightstick with. On top of that, you can program macros into this stick to do certain actions if you really want to. And you can also update the firmware for the arcade stick or completely reset it back to stock. Now for my overall thoughts on this arcade stick. I have some good things to say about it, and I have some bad things to say about it as well. I'll start out with the bad. First up, they say this stick is ultra-moddable, and I would argue it is moddable, but not anywhere near ultra-moddable. The fact that they went with Torx screws on this is a huge pain in the butt. Not everybody has T10 bits laying around, and for me it was a struggle because I didn't have a screwdriver with a T10 bit that was thin enough to fit in the holes. I eventually got it open, but it would have been a lot easier if they just used something like a Phillips screw. Next up, they soldered the wires to the joystick micro switches. This is a huge no-no if you want to make this stick ultra moddable. Yes, it's easy to desolder and just solder them onto other micro switches, but at the same time, if you are a novice modder, this becomes a major pain in the butt. Not everybody has a soldering iron, and not everybody has the experience required in order to make this a pretty smooth and seamless change. Interestingly enough, they used quick disconnects on all of the buttons, and then on the joystick, they just went ahead and soldered it. I don't know why they did this. And the very last thing I don't like about this stick is also in regard to moddability. The case here is designed for snap-in buttons. If you are looking to use screw-in buttons with this, you're probably not going to have a good time. There's not really a lot of clearance between the button and the PCB here, and the 24mm buttons at the top have a lip on the inside, so tightening those buttons up would become a bit of a hassle. If you are using snap-ins, you probably won't have any issue at all. Now, in terms of looks, I love how this Fightstick looks. You cannot change the artwork on this stick. I mean, I guess you could, but it's not going to be easy. I guess that's a strike again against ultra-moddability. Anyways, I love the way this looks. It looks a lot like an old NES, and if you flip it on the side, it looks a lot like an NES from the side profile. The styling here is pretty awesome. I love the LEDs on the buttons. I love the switches here. Everything is quick and seamless when you are switching modes, and it's very pain-free. Bluetooth mode, 2.4G mode, and wired mode all performed extremely well for me. I was happy with all 3 different types of connections. The stick worked really well for me on the Nintendo Switch, on PC, on my Android phone, as well as on Raspberry Pi, so I give it a big thumbs up in terms of overall compatibility. And last but not least, the fit and finish. So this is a very interesting stick because the joystick is a little bit further apart from the buttons than a standard Vuelix layout. It's also not a noir layout, so it's a very unique layout on its own right, and it's a very comfortable layout at that. I actually like the space here between the joystick and the buttons. I think it was a very good design choice. The stick feels incredibly solid. Even though the top is completely made of plastic, it doesn't flex at all. The stick is heavy. If you set it on your desk, it's not going to move around, and if you set it on your lap, it's not going to move around. But in terms of portability, just a note, this thing is heavy. On the Amazon listing, they do state it supports Sanwa, Seimitsu, and happ joysticks. I did mount a Sanwa in there, and it fit just fine. Now for the price of this stick. It is priced at $89.99. In my opinion, that is a very good value for this Fightstick. If you are looking for a brand new Fightstick to use on the Nintendo Switch and on your PC and a bunch of different devices, $89.99 is a great deal in my opinion. The connection was very good, the Fightstick's made very well, and at the same time, if you want to mod it, it is moddable. It's not ultra-moddable, but it's moddable. At 90 bucks, this gets a big thumbs up from me. But anyways, that is all I've got for today. Let me know what you think about the 8bitdo arcade stick in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Thank you everyone, take care.